This is my Smart Notebook example lesson for the 5 elements of literature for grade 6. This first slide is a review activity of the 5 elements of literature: character, setting, theme, plot, and style. It's an anagram activity provided by the Smart Notebook software. You can just move these bubbles around and rearrange these scrambled letters until you make the vocab word. And there would be one anagram for each of the 5 elements. My second activity is a word matching activity, also included in the Smart Notebook software. The objective is to teach 6th graders the difference between specific character actions and more generalized character traits over here. And these would be the specific actions. For instance, heroic, stealing candy is not heroic. Saving a cat from a tree is heroic. Being able to match specific actions to generalized traits is really important for understanding how authors use character, and when they think they've got it, they can check. Got a couple wrong. Can rearrange these bubbles until they get it. This is a setting activity using Smart Notebook's handy pen tool. They would read this passage from The Hound of the Baskervilles, and students could take turns coming up to the board and drawing specific elements of the image described in the passage. For instance, a cup-like depression, or the stunted oaks and firs here. This is really important because visualization is a crucial tool for understanding setting and how it works in a story, and if kids can do that, they're really going to understand a lot better. This is a plot diagram to explain the element of plot. They would begin with the exposition and move towards conclusion. So they would just be matching these vocabulary words to their appropriate position on the plot diagram. They can just click and drag until they think they've got them in the correct order. This slide is an example passage that I wrote, including Baskerville Hall here. And the objective is to provide some practice in understanding plot and how it progresses over the course of a very short passage. So they could rearrange these tiles and click these arrows to read the rest of the sentence. And the objective is to put them in the correct order from the exposition to the conclusion. It was a dark and stormy night, and rural England would make a great intro. Let's see, they've got it. This activity is a great Smart Notebook activity using these kind of vortices to explain the difference between theme and plot. For instance, Katniss refuses to play by the rules. Is that a theme? No, obviously it would get spit back out. That's really more a specific plot point. But the theme underneath is being true to yourself. That's a great distinction to make for 6th graders moving into literature. This would be kind of a cold recall, just a check for understanding, where students would have to come up to the board and write the 5 elements, for instance, plot here. It's just a more fun and less stressful way of writing, remembering these elements than having to raise hands or call on specific students who might be stressed out. This activity would be putting all of the 5 elements together using Smart Notebook's handy highlighter tool. You can see I've assigned each one of the 5 elements a color. For instance, being a little too cheerful would be a character, right? An element of character, while, say, Burger World is an element of setting, and maybe a stylistic choice might be, say, ouch, down here at the bottom. That's a great stylistic choice, using the narrator's voice that way. And the objective would be just to show kids how these 5 elements actually work in an actual passage, an on-grade level passage. And see, working from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. is a great plot point. And that last activity also served as a transition into the homework assignment, in which students would be highlighting a passage of their own choosing in the same manner. Really bridging the gap between the intellectual side and how it actually works in literature.